It's Oklahoma Archery. Everything archery based out of Oklahoma for Oklahoma. Let's get it started. Hello, everybody. This is David Bosca, and this is the Oklahoma Archery Podcast.
I'm Neil Cooley, and everybody, today is our 100th episode here at the Oklahoma Archery Podcast. Congrats for sticking it out with us all. And we had a very special guest lined up for you today. We're going to talk to Dan Gaston. And if you spend any time around a pro shop in the archery world, you know exactly who we're talking about. Dan's the guy that he's there clocking in when the store opens, and he's usually there till after it closes. He might be leaning on the counter, drinking bad coffee, telling stories. Somehow he's managed to fix everybody's bow in the building, whether or not they asked him to do it. So we wanted to bring Dan on and talk a little bit of archery and get you guys ready for the upcoming season. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing great, fellas. Good to see you.
You've been successfully evading me trying to get you on the podcast for about a year and a half, man. You held out pretty good.
Pretty much.
But I didn't understand. We were talking off screen and everything, Dan. He said something about wanting to have a special guest for the 100th anniversary, and he thought of you. What's he trying to say there for the 100th year?
Yeah, that's exactly what I asked him. What are you thinking? I said, you need to go get a real big shooter like Rick Gilly and Rick Archer. Those guys still shoot it good,
Yeah,
said, no.
You shoot really good too, Dan.
Well,
when was your first tournament?
my first tournaments probably were in 1981.
Wow.
I went to Vegas in 84 and 85. The only two times I ever went, it was at the Tropicana. The whole tournament was held at the Tropicana. And it was exciting. But I shot tournaments for a lot of years up until about 2000. In about 2000, I took a break to build my house that I'm currently living in still. We bought an acreage and built a house, and it was just, I couldn't travel that year like I wanted to. And, after that, the job got a little bit hectic as I kind of moved up the ranks in the contracting world and federal government out at Tinker. And I just had to kind of calm down the travel mode. I just couldn't be gone as much as I wanted to be gone. So I kind of let it go and just hunted all the time until I got, probably about 2 years before I got ready to retire. Well, it was 2 years because I had just started back shooting in 2014. And I was out pulling arrows in April out of a cold hog target. I never will forget it. And I kind of just had this twinge feeling, and I walked in the house, left the arrow in the target, walked in the house, and I sat down in the chair, and this feeling wasn't going away, and I thought, something's not right. And I was grossly overweight, about 280 pounds, and I've been up to probably 320 a few times in my lifetime. Not like the 225 I am now. But anyway, I told my wife, I said, I think we need to go to the hospital. I think something's not quite right, And she goes, what do you mean? I said, I may be having a heart attack. I'm not sure. So we go to the hospital, and we walk into the emergency room, and, I said, I think I may be having a heart attack. And they said, well, you look fine, but, okay, we'll test, And they couldn't see any semblance of me having a heart attack. I had no pain in my arms or my chest or anything like that. But, I'm type 2 diabetic, and my blood sugars were out of control at that time. So I may not have been feeling any pain. I don't really know. But when they did the enzyme test, it was a given. They said, yeah, you've had a heart attack. So took me in the next morning to do the angiogram and look in there, and they came out of there and went, it's triple bypass. You got problems.
Oh, yeah.
So I had a heart attack, and so we did triple bypass surgery. And so then I kind of delayed my archery a little bit, and it took a lot out of me. And I was still employed, still working. I was the technical director of contracting out at Tinker. And but I wanted to shoot. I knew I was going to retire in 16, and I wanted something else to do. You know, one of my good friends told me when he retired from Tinker a few years earlier, he says, you've been used to making tough decisions your whole career. Now your decisions are going to be, am I going to hunt, fish, play golf, or shoot archery? And I thought, that's a heck of a deal right there.
I like those ideas.
And those are the 4 ideas. Every day, the good Lord lets me wake up. I know He's still got a plan for me, but I know it's probably going to include one of those 4 things, unless my wife makes me mow. But other than that, So I started. I kind of got trying to get healthy again. Started losing weight, getting my diabetes under control, and I really had to get my diabetes under control when my back started flaring up. As you well know, after I came back to shooting a while, I got such bad sciatic nerve pain on my right side that I knew I was eventually going to have surgery. Well, the surgeon said, we're not doing any surgery on you, with your blood sugar like that. So I got the monitor, and I started doing all the stuff and getting it right. And now I'm pretty much keeping my A1C under 7. So that's a good note, but it took a critical point in my life to make me wake up and get it fixed. So meanwhile, after I said all that, it's been a recovery process for me, strength wise. My mind, I'll be 69 next month. My mind thinks that I should shoot like I did when I was in my 40s. And my body just doesn't hold up to that. So if you do come to the pro shop and see me, if you come over to Okie Land and see me now, you're going to see me shoot 2 or 3 ends and sit for an end, and shoot 2 or 3 ends and sit for an end. It's because my back just won't tolerate it. And my back surgery went great, by the way, but now it's twice as bad on the other side with the sciatic on that side. So I may end up having to do it again, but I'm trying to hold off on that as long as I can.
What are you shooting right now?
Right now, I'm shooting an Elite Victra. Honestly, maybe the best bow I've ever shot. I'm seriously in love with this ride. And I'm doing some things different with this bow than I've ever done before. Last year I had 2 Darton 35 ST2s, one for 3D, one for dots and indoor and stuff like that. And I tried shooting them at different poundages and with different arrows. And I was shooting the drop away rests and stuff. And I finally this year when Bren put this Victor in my hands, I just fell in love with it. It's 37.5 inches, axle to axle. It's longer than anything I've shot in a long time. I can remember I was talking to Wingo the other day. I don't know if you guys all know Steve Wingo. I don't know if the folks out there do, but I was taking Steve Wingo to tournaments when he was 15 years old. That'll tell you how long we've been running together at the time. But I had a PSE laser flight, 46 inches, axle to axle. Now, those were long bows. And Wingo still got a Magnaflight under his bed that's 48 inches, axle to axle. And they were just big old round wheel bows, and they weren't aluminum risers. They were cast risers. And we shot the fire out of those bows. They were some good bows back in the days. And we migrated from there and went to, I went to Matthews and Terry Ragsdale. I ran with Dennis Barnes, bless his heart, one of my best friends. And if you're inclined to be a prayer guy or prayer warrior, be sure and pray for him because he's struggling.
Okay.
Had a lung transplant, and he's just struggling with it. But anyway, we got the first Mach 5s that came out. You guys remember those from?
I had a Mach 7, a Mach 9, and believe it or not, 2 weeks ago, I went back and bought a Mach 9.
Did you really?
Yeah, I've got one of those 43-inch axle Mach 9s, round wheeled. Yep.
Yeah, we had the first aluminum risers that came out of Matthews, and we had a Mach 5, then a Mach 6 that we tried to shoot 3D with. It was a little radical. It's kind of like shooting a Tidal today. I know that's what Dave shoots, but anyway, back to my Victra. I'm doing something different with this bow that I've ever done before. I'm actually shooting. I went back to a blade instead of my drop away, I did that because my whole career coming up, all we shot was blades. There wasn't such thing as a drop away in my early days, and I loved the way the blades handled. I loved the way they tuned, and I just loved how forgiving they were. And I talked to Chris Perkins one day, and I said, Chris, are you worried about Fletch hit? He goes, I don't care if it hits in the middle. And obviously this weekend he hit 60X as his first day, so he's got in there in the middle. But what I did was I decided to shoot one bow, and I was going to shoot everything off of one bow. And so I've got that bow set up, and I've been shooting it indoors for about 2 months now. But I've been shooting it with my 3D arrows. I haven't even put any indoor arrows on it because I'm really not an indoor competitor anymore. I'm more of a 3D. I shoot a known 40 class, an old man class, which I get to do for one more year, and then I get to go to Rick Gilly's old man class.
Rick, poke.
Yeah. So Rick's in his 70s, and I'll be one more year. I'll turn 69 next month, and then one more year next year. Since I'll have my birthday in that year, I'll get to shoot in the Master Senior class. But I'm shooting a new era this year for me. It's a Super Drive 25. I've got Smith Brothers points, 120s up front. And for the first time in my career, I'm shooting tack mains. They're a 225 tack main. I've never been a huge proponent of tack mains. And Kyle Anderson has told me I'm crazy over and over again for not shooting. I've always been a flex guy, you know. And so I thought, but Kyle, I can't ever get a tack main to stick. I said, I've tried and tried. And part of my problem is I'm fletching with a Veinmaster Pro, and I just don't get enough tension on that Veinmaster where it has those two little steel vein goes in between them. I can't get enough pressure to where it flattens that. I would always get a cupping underneath the end of my vein. Yeah. I don't know if you can see what I'm talking about, but there would always be a cupping right here. So anyway, Kyle said, I'll fletch them for you. And so now Kyle is my official tack fletcher. He doesn't know that totally yet because he's getting ready to do another dozen skinnies for me right here. But I absolutely love these tack veins. And they're stiff, but man, are they good. And the other thing I'm doing, since I'm only shooting one bow, is I went to a knock. This is a G-knock bushing, and this is a biter 12-2 or the 166, okay? And I did that because I can shoot my skinnies or my fatties off the same bow, okay, as long as I'm shooting the same knock. Does that make sense? Yep. So I don't have to change anything there. What I have changed is I've got the new AAE Freak Show Quick Disconnect. So if you haven't seen this is the cat's meow. I've got one on my bow now, and what you see inside here, there's these little ridges right here, and it has a block that locks onto your bow in one hole, and then this slides right over the block and screws on with another screw on the outside. Can't move. It goes on exactly the same way every time. So now I've got a 10 thousandths wide, and it's a short blade. It's an AAE Freak Show short blade. You know, that's when you see them, you'll see they say short on them. That's what Jesse Broadwater told me was his favorite, was the short blade. And it kind of matches up with, like, if you shoot a quality best blade, that's about the same length, where these blades that come on these rests are a little bit longer. I'm sure they're fine. But Jesse said he likes the short one, so I'm going with the guy. He
said something about a blade, you better listen.
Yeah. So anyway, but what I'm going to do here is this blade. I just got this in a couple of weeks ago. Once I get these Pro Comps, these are the 340 Pro Comp Easton Pro Comps. I'm going to set this up with it's a 8 thousandths Freak Show, real skinny little blade, but that's what I'm gonna put on this rest, and then all I'm gonna do is change out the rest in the sight, and I'll be set up to go shoot skinnies. So I'm shooting 58 pounds right now, and that's what I'm just gonna shoot all year long. I figured if I can, and that's why I've been shooting that indoor, is to get my strength built up to where I can shoot more arrows. I actually went out and shot the 900 round this year, which I hadn't done in several years because it's a lot of arrows. It's a lot of arrows, and I didn't shoot it great, but I won. I think I shot like an 856 out of 900. Could have been better. I actually started off great, shot a 60 on my second end at 60 yards. I thought, holy smokes, this is going to be good. And then it went downhill a little bit from there. But as I tired out, at 50 and 40, I started making a few mistakes. But still, I was pleased being able to get through that many arrows,
I remember I went out and was visiting with everyone, and everybody kind of shamed me because I had my 1999 binoculars there. So after that, I went and bought a new set.
Look at you.
They're still in the box, but I haven't. I mean, if I will go outside this year, I'll have them. But yeah, I got shamed.
I'm going to get you out there and shoot a field round with me. That's what we're going to do.
I'm anxiously awaiting to see what some new skinny arrows are going to be coming out. But yeah, I'm going to go do a little bit outdoor this year. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Well, one of the things, did you have a question? Was somebody saying something? Oh, yeah. One of the things that I was going to talk a little bit about is I shoot the Achieve XPs, and I have two of these. And for indoor and field, or the 900 round, I shoot an AVX 31 housing, and I shoot the Elvish tack light. And the reason I like this, I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah, you can.
That is a bispectra dot that's in there. It's green. It's actually green, and it has a black center in it. It works. Jesse was originally the one that originated this, I believe. At least he used to paint them on his lens. This one, I've got the blue light coming in from the top. But, man, you can see that on white or black. So when you're shooting field or the yellow face for target, it shows up exceptionally well. And indoors, it's just bright as it can be. So when I shoot a indoor round, or normally I had this on all year shooting indoors. Just recently went to my 3D setup indoors just because I wanted to start tuning into getting ready to go outside. So, and I've been shooting the 25s in there. So that's that. Next, I'll put this on when I get the skinnies built, and the other rest, go set it in. It'll all be tuned specifically at 58 pounds. That's why I shoot that same knock in both arrows. And all I do is just change out the rest. And I just think it's kind of a novel concept to shoot one bow for everything. And it's 58 pounds. I'm not going to shoot much more than that unless I was hunting again. And, so I think it's going to work. I'm looking forward to it.
What skinnies are you looking at shooting?
I've got a set of Pro Comps. I've got some Easton Pro Comps right here. They're 340 spine. I've got 120 up front in them. That's what I'm going to go with for now. I've also got some Victories, the V1 Victories, that are the same size shaft as this. So I'll test both of them to see which one groups best at 70. I have 5 acres out here, and I have a big Morel, 48-inch target out there, and I have built a shed around it and everything. Got a couple 3D targets sitting beside it, but I love going out and shooting at 70 yards. I've been in love with Aeroflight since 1980 when I started this thing. And, I could come home from a stressful day at work, and Susan would say, "What's the matter?" I said, "Just give me a minute." I could go outside and just watch some arrows fly at 70 yards for a while, and I was like, okay, I'm good now. It's just very relaxing.
Take it off with bourbon. Some people take it off with bourbon, and you do it with Aeroflight.
70 is about the perfect distance because your groups can still look good, but you want to be able to break, follow through, and then hear that little thwack of when they land, just a split second later.
Yeah.
What do you think of those new Easton? What was it?
3.2s.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to play with them?
I have not had a chance to play with them yet. Okay. There's a good chance I will, but I have not had a chance to do it yet. So,
yeah, those.
The Victor, let me talk about the Victor for just a minute.
Okay.
Um, that bow is so sweet and it's so comfortable and quiet. The grip is excellent. I had to play with bars quite a bit. I started with a 15-inch bar on the front. I took it to the back of the top, and now after talking to Lawson at one of our jackpot shoots just a few weeks ago, he said absolutely on the bottom hole on the back. And he said 10-inch is the only way to go. Well, I didn't have a 10-inch, and I wasn't going to buy another 10-inch because I had already just bought a 27-inch Pro 500 when I had a 30-inch sitting in the corner. So I wasn't doing that again. But, with his stack of weights that long, that's equal to my 12-inch bar with my stack of weights, So anyway, I put it on the bottom, and I really did. I saw some improvement in my aiming. Neil, you'll be still glad to know I'm still shooting the Ramrod weights, even though I'm shooting Conquest Pro 500 bars. I've got 8 ounces of Ramrod weight on the front and 12 ounces on the back. That's a lot for me.
Yeah.
As I'm getting older, I've never really shot that much, but for some reason, I've come to the realization that if you want it to hold, remotely float, and sometimes even stop, you kind of got to have a little weight on your bow to make it do that. For me, I can't. I've tried it 4 and 8, 6 and 10. I've tried every configuration there is, and I can't make it happen without a little bit more weight on the bow. Now I took my Dorker thing off the front. I couldn't tell that it really did anything for me, and it's 3 extra ounces, so I just put that on the bars and went on. Shooting Big Daddy bowstrings. Mr. Heath France, shout out to him. I'm wearing his hat right there. He is paid the price to bring in the best equipment that he can build, that he can use to build strings. And he studies this game. He's still studying it. He's still making changes. But man, I've been shooting his strings since I got this bow. I had no peak movement. I had no separation, nothing going wrong with it. And I know he had a few problems early on with like the ST2s where they come over the steep edge. He had to change his material that he was using. And he's got it figured out, folks. If you haven't seen his strings, he has got it figured out, and he is building a quality string. I'm in love with him. So good for him.
Yeah, that is really good, especially being local. It's always great to see someone local persevere and how would you say still see a great end product and not give up. I mean, because it's so easy to stop and be stuck in your own ways. Yeah.
No doubt. And he is. We've been up there a few times and going, now, is this spinning this way or is that spinning that way? Are they opposite on the ends? We're trying to figure it all out. And I know Jack Simmons has been a great help to him. They've studied it and worked on it. And I know, pardon me, he's got a lot of chat lines that he has with other string builders, and he can go in there and ask a question, and somewhere out there somebody's going to have an answer for it.
Oh,
can give and he's really doing well, and he's keeping busy, and that's his whole thing. He's got the burger business, and but that's a little seasonal. And when he started out with this, he really started out with this because he was mad because he couldn't get strings timely. He said, well, by gosh, I'll just make my own. Little did he know he's going to spend $15,000 to buy all this, equipment that does all this stuff. And so now he's into it deep, but he's got another source of income, especially in the wintertime, and it's keeping him busy. So good for him.
He's getting ready to be busy cooking at all our qualifiers. Me and him were cooking up, no pun intended, cooking up some ideas to get the maybe not the full truck, but a limited menu. We're going to get him a 10 by 10 pop-up tent with a griddle, and he's going to hit probably going to see him most weekends unless he gets sick or has something else going booked wise. So
he's already recruiting, man. I already know all about this.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I buy you breakfast and you ride with me and save on gas, and all you got to do is help Genesis shoot and all. I'm like, yeah, I'll help you when I can. You know that. So
yeah,
he's
gonna
good.
be.
What was your very first bow you shot?
Besides a recurve, the very first compound bow I ever shot was a golden eagle. Okay. Prettiest bow. I had never seen anything like it. It was a kind of a copper hammer tone looking riser on it with these beautiful recurved white limbs. And I had it, I don't know, 3 days, 4 days, and I'm standing out in my front yard and I'm pulling it back with this release, and the release goes off and the bow shoots out of my hand and hits the driveway. Bam! Right on the cam, you know. You talk about a sick puppy. I was sick, but I shot it anyway, and we went on. And I've been through about 80, 90 target bows probably since then in 1981. Yeah, I mean, that's maybe an exaggeration. It may be more than that. I'm not sure. So,
that's part of being a pro shop legend. You have personally, since I've known you probably 4 or 5 years now, you started with the Matthews. They were his TRX time. And then you went to a Hoyt and Victa when we went to my first Pro-Am. You took me to Minden. Yep. We got all the way out there. He goes, "Where's your collared shirt?" And I go, "What do you need a collared shirt for?" I was out there in a T-shirt, just classing the joint up. And then
was that when Mike and I had my run-in? Mike?
No, that was probably shortly after that. That was the first year they'd went to Minden.
Yeah. Okay. I think it was at Foley, maybe. I don't remember. Long story there, but I'll give you all a tutorial. This will help any newcomers that go to ASA Pro-Am shoots. I walk in there the first day, and I shoot a 212. Not phenomenal, but pretty dang good for this old guy. And so they post the scores. I don't remember if it was a Friday or Saturday, but whatever they did, they posted the Friday scores. And they posted me as a 202. And I thought, I don't get it. Did I write down the score wrong? What did I forget to sign what did I do? You know, I didn't sleep a wink all night long. I didn't sleep a wink. And I get there, break of dawn. I go to the trailer and I knock on the back door, and out steps Mike Terrell. And I said, "Well, sir," I said, "I shot a 212 yesterday." And I said, "For some reason, it showed up in the scores as 202. He said, "What's your name?" And I said, "Dan Gaston." And he said, "Hold on." And I don't know if you guys know Mike or not, but he can be a little testy. And so can I. But anyway, so he comes out and he says, "What's your ASA number?" And I said, 43917. He says, "What's that say right there on the top of your card?" 49317. I said, I must have transposed the number. "Well, I guess you did." So I stood there a minute looking at him, you know, and I said, "Well, so you guys couldn't just look up my name and put my number in it?" He goes, "Nope. When something comes in wrong on these cards, if they don't add up right, or we just deduct 10 points and we figure you'll get here soon enough." I said, "Well, you're right. I'm here, you know."
That's right. Now let's fix it.
He kept on and on and on. And I was at my wit's end. I was ready to give up my ASA career before it ever started. And I said, "Let me tell you something. Last time I checked, you're not my daddy. And my daddy's the last person I let talk to me like that. So you either fix it or I'm packing up my stuff and boycotting this for the rest of my given days. Your choice." "Okay, fine." And so he fixed my score, and I went on my way. Didn't shoot as good the second day because I hadn't slept in 24 hours, but still. So there's a helpful hint. Make sure you get your scorecard correct, and you put the correct number up there, because they're going to deduct 10 points if you don't.
Yep. Sign the 2 initials on the back. You and a witness. Gotta have that. I paid extra to have them printed on all the local ones, not realizing how much extra it costs to print 2-sided. But by golly, we're going to practice like we do it at the big show here in Oklahoma. So a lot of ours, they're 2-sided with the releases on the back. But yeah, so you went from Matthews to Hoyt. I don't know where
you hit PSE once or twice there, because you and I were shooting. Seemed like you might have tried the Perform X at the same time I had it, or you had the shorter version.
I tried one. I don't remember which one it was. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, I went back. I tried a title.
Tried a title.
Title 36. And I was just in no shape to shoot a title. And you guys that shoot titles, well, I mean, how they're just kind of, the draw cycle is a little tough on them, especially in the 80% mod. I actually shot that title better with a 75% mod, holding more weight because it was a smoother draw cycle.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I gave it up. I said, I can't do it, Brent. I gave it back to him, and he said, well, let's put you in something else. So we got in a lift 33, and I shot a lift 33, both bows. I bought another one from him, and I shot that year until last year, and a bunch of the guys were switching to Dartons, and Kyle and a bunch of guys were switching to them.
Well, you had an elite first. You had the verdict in there.
No, I had an
Exalt. That's right.
And I didn't really care if Brent put that in my hands too. And I didn't, it was heavy. And again, I just physically was not able to hold up to that bow. I'm a lot stronger physically today because I've been shooting a lot more arrows now than I have in the last few years. But I just wasn't able to deal with it. And so this young kid came in and wanted one, and I said, here, Brent. And I took all the stuff off, and I said, give it to him. And then I switched then and went to a 35 ST2. And I shot those last year. Shot them okay. I think they're a good shooting bow. There was a lot of guys that shot them a lot better than me, but they shot them really good. When I saw that Victor come in this year, the colors on them, first of all, were spectacular. The raspberry. I've got the black cherry. Kyle's got a raspberry. There's several guys at the shop. I know Billy Gold has one, and Chuck has one, and everybody is just absolutely loving that bow. And I've been shooting it for 2 months, and I'm really, really falling in love with it. For the first time in a long time, fellas, I've been back shooting probably close to 10 years. I retired 10 years ago from federal service. And, I told my wife, she tells me that I told her, I'm just going to get back into it for a hobby. I'm not going to travel. I'm not going to do anything like that. And I said, I don't think I said that, babe. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I'm like, well, okay, chalk me up as a liar then, because I'm going, And thanks to guys like Austin McDowell and guys that put up with me and tote me around the country most of the time. Neil and I have gone some. Kyle and I traveled together. Heck, I even traveled with Michael Braden, bless his heart. He put up with me. Come on down. I went down to his house and stayed with him a couple of days. Got a few lessons. Went to some of the pro-ams with him. And so I just hitch a ride wherever I can. Whoever will tote me around and put up with me. That's where we go.
It's been Dan's turn to drive for about the last 4 pro-ams.
Well, but let's get real. I think it was Kyle and I were driving one day, and we were coming home. It was 2 or 3 in the morning. He'd driven the whole way. He was dog beat tired. And he says, can you think you can drive a while? I said, sure, I can drive a while, so I can't, you know me, Neil, I don't sleep in the car when somebody else is driving. I can't. You, on the other hand, sleep from the time you hit the seat till the time you get there. I can't do that. So I was going, and I was trying to follow the GPS, and I got turned around on the turnpike down there. Next thing you know, I'm doing a U-turn in the middle of the turnpike. Kyle wakes up and goes, pull this thing over. I'm driving. So they don't let me drive very often. But Austin says, ain't nobody driving my truck but me. Okay, good. Jump in there.
Yeah, he'll do.
About every 4 hours, I'm okay.
Yeah, he'll do the whole thing here. 12, 14 hours doesn't matter. It's like, well, we're only stopping for gas one time when he had that diesel there.
Yeah.
The range on it was like 700, and once you hit the highway, it'd go up to 800 miles on there. I'm like, all right.
His whole thing is, I'm not stopping unless somebody tells me they need to stop, and he don't. He didn't stop. So anyway, hey, back to sights. Just so you know, on my 3D rig, I'm shooting the same deal, Elvis tack light. but I'm shooting a 10,000 blue fiber up pin, and I'm shooting it on a 41X housing.
I was going to ask 41.
Yeah, a 41X. Yeah, I shot this out there for several years, but I just got in some situations where in the darker tunnels I could not find, because I shoot a 332 aperture in my peep, and I shoot the specialty peep. I just love them, and I shoot a B clarifier and a 6-power lens. I know we're going to cover that probably, but I shoot it. This is a 360 focus doublet lens in my field, an indoor one. In my 41X, I'm shooting the Vitrum double lens, and it's a great lens. Absolutely love it. And I'm shooting a 10,000 blue fiber up pin. And it helps me to fine tune my aim on the animals.
What do you think about that new Super Peak? That pick, not what they call that, where they
Double
stack
stack.
them?
I would tell you that if I thought I could benefit from that, I'd be the first one to pay that $350 and have one. Okay, because I think it's going to be great things for people that struggle with, well, if I go to a B clarifier, I can't see my pin, but I can see my target real good. But if I get it, I think for those kind of guys, it's going to work miracles. I mean, even Chris Perkins just posted up at Rushmore, this peep is money, type thing. Me, on the other hand, with this cataract surgery I had, where I have this light adjustable lens, man, I can see my pin perfect and I can see the target clear as a bell. So
Yeah.
I'm at, you would think somebody with that kind of advantage could win some tournaments. I think it's just the rest of my feeble woes that keeps me from winning tournaments. But yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem seeing. I have, people shoot my bow all the time. They go, man, I can't see your pin. And I'm like, what? It is absolutely crystal clear, no starburst, nothing for me.
Wow,
So
that's awesome.
yeah, for me, the peep's not going to do me any good. But for about 90% of the rest of you guys, yeah, I think it's probably going to be.
Yeah, it's not going to be for my cup of tea, but I was just curious what your thoughts were on it.
Well, just being able to stack a combination of verifiers and clarifiers and until you get the right combination, I think it's going to be good. I really do.
Yeah. Did you stay up with the ATA and see what was going on out there?
No, didn't do it. I saw that funky bow that everybody was talking about.
Ain't that different?
Not my cup of tea, honestly,
No.
but just call me old fashioned. I just don't see the benefit of that. I hunted a lot of years and killed a lot of nice deer, and just don't see that a need for that. But everybody's got to find something new. I mean, when the gear, came out with that funky looking bow of theirs, everybody thought, oh my, but it didn't. It really took off like they hoped it would. So, but.
The one thing that I'm more waiting to get specs on to play with, that for the outdoor, I want to see what Carbon Express does with some of their smaller diameter arrows. Are they going to come back with their old Nano Pro World and really hit that hard? You know what I'm saying? I want to see what they got up their sleeve.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really studied much on Carbon Express. Obviously, they're making a comeback if they're gonna bring Jimmy Lutz into the picture and have him promote that. I think I think they're probably making a better product. Hey, I did hear something this weekend, just for your benefit. I don't know if you know this or not, but they found out this weekend up there that all of the Super Drive carbon shafts for Easton are not made in the U.S.
Really?
They're made in Vietnam.
Okay.
Yeah, and everything else, the aluminum stuff or everything that's got aluminum in it, that's all made in the U.S. But I didn't know that. So interesting.
Not all the carbons, but the carbons without aluminum are made over there.
All I know is they said the Super Drives, the 23s, 25s, and 27s were all made in Vietnam. I don't know about their small stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, cool.
That's interesting. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They can't keep that one under wraps for too long. Once they find out you're importing them, well, there it is. But most of them are. So what's the big deal? I don't want to pay $700 a dozen for them.
No,
It's like
no doubt.
I like $250 to $300 a dozen's steep enough. Keep them cheap. Yeah.
Good old aluminums.
Yeah.
Dan, you just got some of those. Did you kind of?
I gave them to Austin. I just wasn't going to worry about shooting indoor that much, and I just decided this year when I was going to shoot this one bow that it was going to be enough trouble to set up for 2 setups for skinnies and 3D, and those were going to be my 2 major deals. Other than I love to go to the indoor and shoot every day. And I do shoot practically every day. It's just great practice, and it keeps me strong over the winter. And so that when 3D gets here, I'm not out there trying to pull a bow back. And I know 58 pounds isn't a lot, but the older you get, it's a lot,
More than I shoot.
Yeah, I know.
Dave gets the speed from the draw length. He doesn't need to shoot more than 48 pounds.
No, Dave, you're right. This arrow, by the way, out of that Victra, this arrow weighs 371 grains with a 120 up front, and it's shooting 276.
Wow.
Victra at 58 pounds.
Dang,
So plenty of speed. Anytime I'm in the mid 70s, I'm pretty excited about it. I've only had a couple bows that shot in the low 80s, and I think those were the Matthews 33s, a little bit shorter axle-to-axle bow. But these bows, I think this bow is going to be real forgiving. I've been working with the level a little bit on the scope and getting that all figured out. And but this is right now just in the. I'm kind of giddy. I understand, but in the last couple of weeks. I've been able to slow that float and have it almost set in the 10 ring. Haven't been able to do that for a long, long time since I come back. I just never was strong enough. And therefore that produces a whole lot of bad habits. If you're trying to, I still can't shoot a hinge very good because I'm struggling to hold it there long enough. But with the trigger that I'm shooting, I can, once I get it to slow to the middle and can float it in there, I can just start adding pressure and it fires. And 9 out of 10 times it'll be inside out, in the X, not the baby, but in the 10 ring. So it's just those one out of the 10 that's bad. But anyway, I'm working on it. I'm working on my shot. I'm looking forward to the 3D. This year because I honestly believe I'm going to be able to aim this bow better under pressure than I have in the last few years. So my goal is to try to place at one of the pro-ams this year. And that's hard to do. There's some awfully good shooters in my class. And, I've placed 5th and 6th a couple of times back when I first started in my early 60s, but then the scores weren't like they were now. I don't know if it's technology or if it's just more guys retiring and getting up there and that were really great shooters. I laid off from 2000 until 2015. So I went 15 years without shooting a target arrow and just hunted. That's all I did, archery wise. So wasn't until I got thinking about retirement and getting past that heart attack that I picked it back up and started playing again. And it's been eating me up ever since. So
was I back in it when you got started again, or I can't remember if I got right back in it or right about the same time. I don't honestly know.
I think I had my heart attack in April of 14 and I was shooting in 14 by the time I came out of that. Okay. Not real successfully, but I retired in 16 and in September of 16. And so it'll be 10 years this coming September of 26. So it's been a good fun 9 years. I mean, I'm glad I got 10 years out of it so far.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
It's good. It's all good.
We're glad we got 9 or 10 years out of you as well, because I think the first thing you ever said to me was, that rest on that bow is older than you are, and it was gone. Once I got my Hamsky drop away ordered, you took that old 2-prong quick tune 2000 off, 2000, 3000, whatever it was.
The Golden Key. What was those called? Golden Key Premier?
I don't know. The double prong like that, or was it the double?
Yeah.
Prong?
Yeah. It didn't move. It just kind of sat there. And you took that thing off. I sit there and have my hand out for it like I was going to put it in my toolbox, and you right in the garbage can. It's like, well, we'll put that in the trash where it belongs. All right, now here's how we got to set this Hamsky up. And after that, it was, dropaways on everything, and always been tuning on somebody's bows.
I was heavy into those dropaways, and I'm probably a Hamsky expert, even though I'm not shooting it now. I've made all the mistakes there is to make with a Hamsky. And I started out with the first models, and they didn't do anything but just eat me up on my hand right here. I got away from them and went to the hybrids, and then the other ones came out. And so I don't know, I shot them all till last year, but the Trinities I shot last year. And then I started shooting the Hamskys with a fixed blade. And then this year I went to this rest that I was talking to you about, just because I wanted to be able to change it in and out for my skinnies and just shoot one bow. So,
have you seen the new R7s?
I have seen them at the shop. Sure have.
What do they look like? I'm really.
Boy, don't ask me what they look like. I'm not a Hoyt guy.
I'm sorry. The R7 Hamsky Rest.
Oh no! Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the new RX.
No,
no, I have not. I have not seen the new Hamsky Rest.
I haven't dove into getting one because I was waiting on their blocks to come out, because I've got my Rest back a good little ways, because that's where I've just got it torqued at. So I've been waiting, and they said that they'll be out. They should be out right about now, actually. But I've held off of planning getting one just for that reason.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious.
I mean, you guys are diehard dropaway guys. You can't beat them. They're really good. I do know that they're getting more and more adjustability to them, instead of having to trim screws and get more washers and trying to get your angle. They're all internal now, where you can maneuver it and works.
Now that I'm equipped with enough washers to rig up 100 of them, they've gone away from the washers. Awesome. Great job, guys.
Hey, one other thing I forgot to tell you about this one, though, if you want adjustability, see this blade holder right here? This thing adjusts backwards and forwards, so you can actually torque tune without taking this rest off your bow. So if you're into torque tuning, you can put that on there, and you can just slide it forward and backwards and torque tune with it. I didn't do it with my 25s, but I'm intending to do it with the skinnies.
I was going to ask you that when you said it's a one screw to the block. I was like, does it have any adjustment forward and backward that you could have any play? But so it connects in one spot, and the torque tune adjustment is a different on the opposite side.
It actually can connect in more than one spot. It's just that for me to get my arrow rest back at the back of my, the back side of my riser, so that I can shoot these arrows a little bit shorter, I just went ahead and put it in place where I thought I needed it. But when I go to but you can manipulate this. If you got two, there's two different mechanisms. If you got two burger holes in your bow, then the block you can put on the inside. If you don't, then this just goes up on it, and you lock it in whatever single hole that you have. So, and the block still goes on it on the inside. That's what, and you can set it on any of these ridges that are in here, lock it in. But then this you got to hold the block and everything on it. It's not quite as convenient when you got a two-hole bow. Two-hole bows, the block goes on the inside, mounts to the bow. This clicks right on over the top of it and mounts into the other hole. And so it's just super easy to take out one screw, pop the whole rest off, pop the next one on, screw the screw back in, and you're set. You're already tuned, ready to go.
Yeah.
So as long as I can get an arrow to tune, my skinny and my big one and I won't have any problem getting it to tune, but as long as I can get it to fit the string and get the appropriate blade on here and tune this rest individually, should have no problem whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree. What veins you going to think about running?
On my skinnies?
Yeah.
I'm going to run 175 tacks.
Okay.
These are 225s here, and I'm going to run 175s. I've already got them. As soon as I can get these arrows cleaned up, Kyle's going to fletch those for me too. So, but so I'm going to do 175 tacks on these, and then I'll shoot these, and then I also have the VAPs that I have, and I've got that little fletch. What is it? It's the low profile, with the little rounded back on it and everything. I can't remember how long it is, but anyway, I've got those fletched up with those still. So
they got that Pro one out, that Pro 175, I think.
What is that?
The low Pro would be a 225, I think.
I think the 225 is what it is. I think it is 2 1/4. Yeah. And it's just low profile. So, and that's what I shot out at the 900 shoot this year, was those VAPs.
If you ever wonder what Dan shot last year, look at whatever's strapped to my bow, because that's probably it. We had a
2.5.
Is that a 2.5?
Yeah, this is the Flex Pro 2.5.
Put your hand behind it, Dave.
So it almost looks like that. Yeah.
There you go.
Cool.
That's the best vein they make right there.
I love fletch veins. I really do. But I'm really starting to like the stiffness on these tack veins too.
Yeah.
So
they've got that going for them. If you get a fingernail underneath them, man, they are coming off. I just don't know.
Just have Kyle Fletchers. You'll be all right.
Well, Kyle's got a day job. I don't know that Kyle's gonna take a couple hours and fletch me up a dozen arrows.
Kyle's custom arrows.
I can probably guarantee you he's not, but he's been gracious to me. So, and by the way, I do shoot a little helical, or it's a little left helical. I'd say I don't really know for sure on these tack veins. I'd say they're probably 3 degrees. And the reason I don't know for sure is because on a Bitzenberger, there's no set there. You either got to have one of those pins with the degree things on them or whatever. But on my Vein Master, it tells you left, right, 1, 2, 3, whatever degrees you want. So and I really love it for fletch and flex. But I am using tack glue on everything, even my flex fletch. I'm using tack glues. So other than that,
so what tournaments are you thinking about? What's going to be your first one this year?
Going to Foley. I'm going to Foley. I've been experiencing some serious back problems again this whole winter, and I just wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it. I just think this isn't working. But I bought off a pillow that came off the internet. It's called Smooth Spine, and it's a heat and vibration. But it has these 2 prongs that, as it goes through these cycles, it lifts these prongs up in the middle of your back and sends you through the roof. But it decompresses your spine to allow more moisture and fluid to get in. And honestly, I've been using it for about 3.5 weeks now, 1 time a day for about 30 minutes. And I am seeing marked improvement in my pain levels. I went from excruciating, I can't even stand up 5 minutes, to back to shooting my bow more time, longer periods of time, being able to walk a little bit more. And
That's
so,
huge. That's huge right there.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm going to try to just gut it out a little bit, not go back under the knife right now. So just keep using this thing for now, and seeing. I don't like taking a bunch of dope either, but if I have to take an ibuprofen to get through a tournament, then so be it. But they're just the woes of getting old. But I'm not done yet, so I'm actually probably shooting better arrows today, better aimed arrows, better executed arrows today than I have than the last 10 years, honestly.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So I'm feeling stronger, and I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, last year I was shooting 54, 55 pounds, and being able to shoot 58. Now I'm shooting a smooth mod. I'm not shooting performance mod or anything like that. And I'm still getting plenty of speed. So it feels great. Feels great. Love this bow. So, now back to your question. I'm sorry. I'm going to Foley, Minden, Metropolis, and maybe the Classic. Doubt I'll go to Benning, and doubt I'll go to London. I've never been to London, but I doubt I'll go to Benning, but I've been there before. We'll just have to wait and see how I'm feeling, how I'm shooting.
You thinking of running?
And then I'll probably make one local ASA shoot this year somewhere.
Poke, prod.
Hey, I mean, there's enough of them. I mean, you couldn't leave your house this spring and drive any direction and not drive past at least one. I mean,
that's what I was studying.
Yeah, it's going to be. You better have your good tires on, have your oil changed, have your riding buddies, because we're going to put some miles on it this year.
Oh, I'm telling you.
I'm going to try to do 2, maybe 3. Yeah.
Are you pro-ams or just local tournaments?
Local.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try to shoot at least 1 or 2 field. I'm gonna practice some field this year, but I'm gonna try to shoot probably the state field this year for a change. Last year I went out and spectated, but I just walked around on my lawn chair because I just couldn't stand up long enough, with my back. So, but I think I can do it. I think I can probably do some field this year, and we'll go from there.
My issue isn't the shooting. My eyes, everybody knows they're bad. Hell, I'm old, but beyond 40 yards, I have a hard time seeing.
Yeah.
I just can't make any definition out. So the 40, 50, 60 target shoots, it's hard for me. I have a hard time shooting the 50s and the 60s. The USA's at 55 meter or 55 yard, same thing, but 3D, if I can get a little closer, maybe I can at least stay the center of the mass.
There you go.
I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'll aim between the belly and the back and put it between the front and back leg and shoot.
Yeah. Just get you a big old housing and get you a big enough pin in there that you can see and go to it.
Well, I'm doing the no pin, no dot, just the housing world.
On an animal?
I don't know. Haven't ever tried it. Never tried it.
And
I shot the Oklahoma Outdoor USA with it like that.
Well, I've seen you do it indoor, and it's unbelievable. I just can't believe how you do that. But
I don't know how it would do on target on animals, but I can't imagine it being great. I'm being serious. I can't imagine it being great, but
right.
I just got to get to where I can see, because there's no confidence in this hand when you can't see it. Yeah.
I was down at the shop yesterday, and Austin McDowell was there, and he had shown up to shoot, and he forgot his bow. He usually carries it in his truck, and he had left it in the garage, and he didn't have it in. So he's standing there, and he's shooting his title. It was sitting over there next, but he don't have any weight on it. He's got 2 stabilizer bars and 1 ounce of weight on the front, 1 ounce of weight on the back, and he doesn't have a lens in his. He doesn't have a lens with magnification in. He's got a yellow over lens that's got a dot about, the size of covered like almost to the blue on the Vegas face. And I watched him stand there and shoot X, 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 X. And he's like, man, maybe there's something to this, Maybe I just won't shoot a lens on 3D. And I said, well, just wait till you get out there. You'll figure out you need a lens. But I mean, it was working indoors. He just covering the whole thing up.
It happens that way, man. You got to figure out. I mean, slide shoot's what we would consider to be a big dot, and if it distracts you from seeing the pin in it and out of it and in it and out of it, man, you can break some really clean shots. I mean,
just slows that movement down.
Yeah, I mean, sure whatever your brain likes, you're seeing what translates between your left hand and your right hand. If it allows you to execute a smooth shot and face goes when the bow goes off, that's
what the one thing between the left and the right hand is that gets you in trouble?
Your brain.
Exactly.
Must be why I'm so good at archery. There's just not a lot going on up there.
Oh, okay. I thought you was fixing to throw one at us and go, it's packed from side to side.
Oh, yeah.
So, Dave, I know you shoot 2-finger hands, right?
No, actually, I laid her back down.
Okay.
I went back to my Scott Anchor.
Okay. And
Apex.
Apex.
Yeah. How about you, Mr. Neal?
Medium brass Stan thumb button. I've got the regular thumb button and I've got the clicker version. I don't know which one I like better. The clicker's weird. I've never shot around with it, but except I did. I think it was like exact same score as it was with the thumb button, but it takes a little getting used to. But I think it does help speed my shot process up just a little tiny bit if I get to that click and then go ahead and pull it out the back. But medium brass stands for me. I've been punched by 2 B3s. I've been punched by 2 True Ball. What are those? Not the Apex. That's Dave's. I'm having a senior moment here. Abyss. I've been punched by True. I've been punched by 4 releases in the past year. I must have some kind of terrible karma floating around.
You deserved it, I guess.
We know I deserved it. It's just, why do I keep it? Because I don't set them real light. I set them real heavy with no travel, and it sure doesn't travel very far between breaking off my string and busting my lip, busting my nose.
That's something else I've been working on a lot is the release execution, and I'm shooting the Stan Onyx, not the click, just the thumb button in the large. And one of the things that I have finally kind of figured out for me is that when I have that release up here on this part of the thumb, and I'm trying to execute it, I build in anticipation. It absolutely, when it gets close, it wants to fire. And when I put the big knob back on it and I laid it back here behind this joint, I can slow it to the middle and I can just squeeze that hand and boom, it fires. And it feels like the old days. It feels like when I used to shoot and how I used to shoot. And since I've been back, I just have not been shooting that way. I can shoot a hinge for a while. Kyle Anderson bugs the devil out of me because he's one of the best hinge shooters I've ever seen. And he's like, I keep telling you need to shoot your hinge, because I'll pick one up one day and just go X, 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 and then 4, something just terrible. And he goes, I keep telling you need to shoot a hinge. And I tried it a couple of times last year outdoors on some 3D tournaments and shot it pretty good, except at Tulsa, I was shooting along, and at Tulsa we had I don't remember if it was a cat or a cougar or something, but it was like, I'm talking about up there, and I couldn't make it even. I couldn't get to the click. I'm pulling back and it won't get to the click. And I let down and I pull back and it wouldn't go to the click because I had my draw length was set for this, not this, and then finally on the third time or the second time I went to let it down, it goes poop and fires. I was like ate up at the time, and it drops my arrow off, 15 feet out in front of me for a big zero. So anyway, I kind of laid off that. I know I probably ought to be shooting one, but I'm just not hardly tough enough anymore. So I just trying to learn this button and going from there.
I enjoy shooting the back tension now that I've kind of got it. And well, yeah, when I seen you, was it 2-3 weeks ago? Something like that?
I saw you when you came over to Bryn's the other day to.
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks ago. Yeah. I was shooting that 2-finger and it was fine. I don't know. I just shoot better with the button, I think. Yeah.
I definitely do.
Yeah.
Don't ask Kyle, but I think I do. So.
Yeah. So.
What else you guys got for me? Anything else?
Man, we're good. I'm good. How about you, Neil?
Yeah, I've got one closing. If we're gonna wrap it up at an hour and 5 minutes, I'll say, Dan, you've helped more archers than you can probably count, than any of us could probably count. Do you realize the impact you've had on people's archery journeys?
Maybe a little bit.
I mean, people walk into the pro shop and they immediately trust you with their bow. And I know it might just be a regular Tuesday for you, but for them, it might be the start of, a lifelong crippling addiction. And it's guys like you hanging out there that make that possible.
That's true. So good.
Well, I appreciate that. And, I told you I love watching arrows fly. I love watching other people shoot arrows. It's the crazy thing. People go, how come you're not shooting? You just set me here behind this spotting scope and I can watch Dave or Neil or anybody on that line. I love watching the jackpot shoots. I'm not donating my $20 to those clowns. You got Nate McMurtry down here, who just shot 900 at the Rushmore Rumble. I'm not going to try to go pay him my $20, but I'll collect money and run the shoot and spot and do all that kind of stuff. I just love being around archery. I love being around archery folks. You'll never meet a kinder group of people. So yeah, it's all good.
We were at Foley 2 years ago, I think, and it was Saturday night. We were all back at the Airbnb, and this is 14 grown men have just watched the live shoot down. We're there in the stands watching the shoot down. We all go to dinner. We all go back to the Airbnb, and we're, come up, a couple of us playing poker, a couple of us, drinking a beverage of some sort. And we've got the shoot down on that we were literally at it 3 hours ago, and we're all watching it again just because we're just so fascinated with, people say archery is not a spectator sport. It's like, for a few people out there, it really is. It's the level of competition going on out there today it's amazing. It's fun to be a part of.
Well, I appreciate you guys, and shout out to Oakland Bow Hunter for putting up with me, Bryn Chapman, and shout out to Big Daddy Bo James here. Got a sweatshirt on. Look at there.
Oh,
he furnishes all this good stuff for me. I gotta tote it around. So anyway, guys, I appreciate your time. Hope it wasn't too boring, and we'll see you on the trail.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back for 150th.
Oh Lord. Hopefully I'll do something by then. How's that?
Well, all right, guys. That's all I got. Neil, you want to run any shoots real quick? What's the first one for the state?
Let's say this weekend coming up, we've got the state USA Archery Indoor at H&H. Don't forget to show up if you're a member for the meeting afterwards. We've got some important stuff to vote on, officer elections. You've also got the Southern NFAA Indoor Sectionals this weekend. I think they're hosting that. Is that Arrowhead in Dale City?
I think that's Arrowhead. Yeah.
Yeah. Contact Jeff and Gail for a line time. I believe that one's pre-registration. I think you go in and reserve your line times on that. And then also, if you're ready for 3D season, like some of us are, Dave especially, Paris's indoor is this weekend. Don't be caught missing that one, it's I think it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Also, there are people out there that are hitting all three of them. Shout out to Mackie Loudon and the Loudon family. They're going to try to hit all three of them. They don't miss a shoot, so you can do that too. If you want to shoot, you know. They just got back. Yep, they did. They just got back from that. Mackie was shooting good before he left too. I think he was shooting like 297s he got that bow figured out. Said the 25s were shooting better than the 27s for him.
I saw Zane went with them, and so yeah. Hey, you mentioned Jeff and Gail. Jeff and I were running Trosper. We were in office at Trosper forever. I know I was from 1981 to probably 2001. And, you know, Jeff and I originated all of the videos and the setup and everything for the first Cabela shoots that came to Oklahoma City.
Yep, I remember all them.
Yeah, and so it was cool.
I placed second or third at that one.
Really?
Yeah, I got the plaque there. Yeah,
I didn't get to shoot it just because we were too busy trying to run it. But I mean, we shut down 36th Street there, all the way from 29th to Eastern, and had all those ranges. Jeff, he worked so hard, bless his heart. He built so many ranges, and we built some tough ranges, especially on the other side of the road from where Trosper's at now. We had some unbelievable ranges.
Because I also remember Trosper hosted the Federation Championships out there.
Mm-hmm.
ASA Federation Championships.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Cabela's was before ASA was ever even thought about it. They were kind of the
to
it.
Yeah.
And that was back in the old
they pulled the big green bus in. Remember that?
Yeah. So anyway, guys, I just brought up memory.
The other guy that him and his wife that was really popular out there or did a lot was the Browns. Travis?
Budge? Oh, Budge and Travis?
Is that right?
Budge
Travis?
Yeah.
I remember them had a lot to do with Trosper.
They were a little bit later. They came in a little bit after that. Gail and Jeff were strong in the club early in the 80s, and so
nice.
Travis and Budge come in and took over when some of us old timers needed to step down. So yeah. But anyway,
cool.
Sorry I digressed.
Good, man.
We got 3 tournaments this weekend. You get an off weekend, and then our ASA season opener at Trosper, January 31st and February 1st. Plan on that probably being a 10 o'clock shotgun start, unless I hear different from Mary and the guys.
Looks like it's going to be chilly.
That weekend we'll be shooting indoors up at Dewey.
Oh,
got another USA Archery shoot up there.
Joad series. Yeah.
Shooting the adult Joad.
Yeah.
Well, good deal.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Anything I can do for
guys.
you? All right.
Y'all take care.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.